Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to the channel. So obviously we are not out in the garden today, but it is Christmas week, and obviously baking usually happens for most people around this time of the year. However, of course, with my dietary restrictions and limitations on what I can eat due to allergens now, we're going to be doing a special treat that doesn't involve any flour, gluten, or anything else. It is going to be a butter toffee that's going to be made with maple sugar. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and just to let you know, since it is Christmas week, obviously, we will not be having a video on Christmas Eve or on New Year's Eve this year. So celebrate the holiday and let you guys do the same. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. So let's go on ahead and get this very tasty treat going. Yeah. Okay guys, so the butter toffee recipe is really just 4 basic ingredients, and you can adapt this however you want to adapt it. So what we are going to be doing is a cup. So this is really simple to actually remember. Cup of butter, cup of sugar, half teaspoon of salt, and then a teaspoon of vanilla. So basically 1, 1, 1, and then half. So if you can remember that sort of a ratio, that is how I remember recipes. But what we are going to be using this time is going to be a maple sugar. Now, I got this from Azure Standard. I'll go on ahead and I'll drop my referral link down below if you've never looked at Azure Standard or done an order with Azure Standard. I highly recommend going with them as a bulk buying place. You can get really high quality ingredients at good wholesale prices. So we're going to be doing maple sugar. You can do anything from regular sugar to light brown sugar to dark brown sugar. Whatever your preference is as far as flavor goes, you can do that. Now, as I said, I have certain food sensitivities, so we're going to try maple sugar, plus the maple flavor is going to be like really, really tasty in this butter toffee. To add into it, you can add other things. If you like nuts, you can add nuts in. If you want to add like chocolate chips in, you can add chocolate chips in, and they will kind of melt throughout the butter toffee. So if you want to make this a really decadent, fancy thing, feel free to go on ahead and make those adaptations. What we are also going to be using is some homemade vanilla. So we did this ourselves. A lot of people make homemade vanilla. If you're interested in learning how to make homemade vanilla, comment down below because I can show you how to do that. It's really, really easy. It's just fresh vanilla beans and alcohol of choice. Now, we're going to go on ahead. We're going to get into the bulk of what we need to do here, because this recipe isn't hard. It's a very simple recipe, but it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. So let's go on ahead and get started, and that starts with melting some butter. Okay, so I have a cup of butter, which is going to be 2 sticks. Now, we use Kerrygold, and the reason that we use Kerrygold is because of the milk fat. We have tried using a few other brands, however, they didn't end up setting correctly. Couldn't tell you why outside of the milk fat ratio being the main difference. Now, obviously, there's been information sent out about Kerrygold and the PFSAs or whatever those forever chemicals are. From what I understand, that's mostly in the tubs and not in the bricks. So I am 100% okay with using this, but you do you. Just know that if you use a different brand of butter, results may vary. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You want to make sure to have a high milk fat. Now, if you want to research how much their milk fat is, go on ahead, and then you can see if you can find an alternative company to work with as far as butter goes. Next thing we're going to do is I've got this, of course, on the burner, and we're melting it. So we've got our heat on a medium-low setting as of right now. I'm going to go on ahead. You can see the butter is starting to melt in the pan. And I'm going to measure out a rough cup here. The maple does keep it a little bit clumpier, but that's okay. All right. In a recipe like this is candy, so we don't want to short the sugar. You can get away with that in other baked goods, but not in candy making for obvious reasons. And that's it. Literally just goes in like that. We're gonna do our ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, I do not worry about whether or not my butter is salted. I have salted butter on hand, and that is just what I work with. If you want to not use salted butter, if you've got salt sensitivity or you're trying to reduce your salt intake, that might be something to take into consideration, but I don't worry about that as a rule. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to get this all melted, and we are going to make sure to stir regularly as we go along. That's going to be the most important thing that you need to know about this recipe, is that you've got to keep stirring the whole time. And then we will show you at what stages we're needing to do things. Equipment that you will need is going to be a candy thermometer. This is going to be something pretty important for you to have. So if you don't have a candy thermometer, you're going to want to get one before you do this, because if you haven't worked with a lot of candy type stuff, then you're going to be liable to burn it or have it underdone, and neither one will set correctly and you're not going to want to eat it. Okay guys, so I want to show you this real quickly. You see this separation in here? It kind of looks like there's oil, fat on top. That's basically what it is. And then down below, you've kind of got that granular sugar structure. Looks a little gnarly at first, but this is completely normal, so don't sweat it, all right? What we are looking for is to get this to a hard crack stage, and we want to be stirring continuously. Now, I know it's going to be tempting, but do not increase your heat at this point or any point. This is sort of one of those things that just takes time and a little bit of patience. So we're going to just continue to do a nice slow stir, and we'll bring you along once we get closer to the hard crack stage, which is around 290 to 300 degrees, because at the very end we are going to be putting the vanilla in, and then we are literally going to be pouring it out and spreading it out as quickly as humanly possible, because once we reach the hard crack stage, things happen very, very quickly. At this point, we're getting close to a softball stage, so you can see it is starting to incorporate in here. The fat is beginning to completely soak in to all of our granular structure, or our granular structure is, you know, starting to meld with the fat, however you want to view it. And you can see it starts to get these kind of little weird streaks in it. That's normal for coming into the softball stage. So we're also going to be developing more and more bubbles as we go along. And once we get closer to the hard crack stage, you'll see those increasing, and you will see the separation lessening over that time frame, or that's what it should be doing. If it's not doing that and you are still having some separation, something's gone off. Just knowing that from previous times when we tried the other butters and they didn't work out, that's what happened to us. So, okay guys, we are very close to the hard ball. Hopefully I said that correct earlier, because we want this to the hard crack stage, and this is closing in on the hard ball stage. And the hard ball stage, you can see it's got a nice sheen. It's glossy. The sugar and the butter fat have decided to become partners in crime, and it's looking beautiful. And it smells even better. Even Mom has been commenting on how good it is smelling. Depending upon how well this turns out, we may convert all of our butter toffee over to the maple sugar version, because it smells amazing. So we've got a little bit of ways to go, but a few things I wanted to point out real quick. Obviously, we are in a deeper pan here, so this saucepan, you are going to want room. Because at the end, once we get to the 290 degree temperature, we are going to put in our our beautiful vanilla here. We will be dumping that right in, but when we do that, I don't want you to be too surprised, and I'm hoping we can catch it on film for you to visually see what it looks like, but I'm going to be having to move so quickly, I'm not sure how much we'll catch. So I want you to be prepared because it's going to foam and it's going to kind of look like it's seizing, which it basically is, and it's going to rise up. So you want all this space that you see here vertically, you're going to want that space, and you're going to end up needing that space in the end. All right, we're pulling that. Here we go, guys. Whee! You want to spread this out as thin as you possibly can. It's okay if there's holes in it, so don't worry about it, guys. And you probably just heard the pan pop. Sometimes a little shimmy shake doesn't hurt anything. Think of this like brittle and bark, your chocolate bark, peppermint barks. You want it nice and thin. And then we get to wait for it to cool down, and that's going to take a little while as well. So make sure nobody touches it at this stage because it is still scalding hot. So you're going to want to keep it up out of the reach of any little fingers that might be running around. Okay guys, so this part of the process is probably pretty self-explanatory, but we're just literally breaking them apart here and into pieces. Now, we usually do two different... Run. Okay, she's stealing. Okay, so we do two batches usually. First batch, we don't put salt on top, but on the second batch, we do add a little bit of salt so you get that salty and sweet thing going on. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's totally optional, but it does add a very nice little kind of glistening look to the butter toffee, and it tastes really good. Sweet and salty, just something about it. So that's all I've got for you on this video today. Now, at the end of this video, I will go on ahead and I will tag another video for some extra winter content for you guys to check out, since we are not going to be doing a video on Christmas Eve, obviously. So I'll put that there. And then, of course, I will have video cards in the middle here, just so that you can have some other content that maybe you have seen, maybe you haven't seen it, and want a refresher on. But guys, as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. Oh, and before I forget, my guide is almost done. So we are looking at first going into the second week of January. The soil fertility guide is going to be coming out very, very soon. So I want you guys to be able to get the big discount that's going to be on that. We're talking 40% off. So go on ahead and sign up at the link that I'm going to have down below so that you can get that discount and start being able to really get the high yields that you are looking for in your garden, and that I know is possible because I've experienced it and we've had success with it here. And I want you to be able to learn how to do that, and I want you to be able to grow successfully as well. So that's all I've got for you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.